Hello, Ravens fans, and welcome to another HCAC preview. I'm Aaron Schneider, the Sports Information Director at Anderson University, and joining us for our preview about the HCAC baseball tournament is head coach Matt Bair. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Aaron. Thank you.
First, talk about the season so far. We're 19-19 overall. We had a 11-7 HCAC record, finishing fourth place in the conference standings and only a couple games out of first place. What's your takeaway on the season so far?
Yeah. We always try to schedule ourselves tough, outside of the conference. Obviously 19-19 being at 500 may never be the reflective record that you're looking for year in and year out. But again, we played a very competitive non-conference schedule, and I thought that prepared us for the conference really well. And so, our conference record this year was solid, and it got us into the tournament, and that's what's most important. As far as the season as a whole this year, we've weathered a lot. Just like any team, we've had our struggles and complications with weather and different things like that. It makes it challenging to get out on the field and practice the way that we want to. We've battled some unfortunate injuries, losing our leadoff hitter halfway into the conference season after getting hit in the hand with a pitch. We lost an assistant coach at the halfway point. And that's always challenging. Of course, we lost him to bigger and better things, but he was Coach Schnepp was a great staple in our program, and he had done a lot of great things with our guys. And so, we've just had to get over some hurdles, but like I've said all along, I really believe in the character of the guys in our locker room, and we've had to bootstrap some things in many ways, but in the end, we were able to put a conference season together that allowed us to get into the tournament. And that's not easy to do. Our conference has just extreme parity across the board. And to be able to pull out 11 wins and just be, essentially one game out of first place and going into that last weekend, I thought we were very fortunate considering some of the circumstances and things like that we've gone through this season. So I was excited for the guys. I've been extremely happy and pleased with their engagement throughout the season. And as always, they give me their best effort. And that's not much more I can ask there.
All right. And then I wanted to talk about the parity in the conference this year. Baseball and softball are sports of parity, and when it gets to that conference tournament, whoever, it's a whoever's hot thing. And this, I would say this year more than ever really reflects that, where any of the five teams in the tournament this year could certainly be a legitimate conference champion. And here's a stat for you if you haven't looked at this already. If you take each of the five playoff teams and compare their regular season record against the other four teams in the tournament, the very best record is 5-3, and the very worst record is 3-5. So it's not like there's a team that's clearly ahead of the rest. There's not one that's clearly behind the rest. It's a very even 5-team battle for this tournament.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Aaron. And I'm not so sure there aren't a few teams that didn't even make the conference that if they were able to have made it, wouldn't fare well too. And
I would agree there as well.
And so, I think the parity really, coaches are working hard. I know the coaches in our conference are working hard. I see them out recruiting. I see them working in their efforts to grow in the game and to develop their players and their teams. And again, I just think coaches behind the scenes are doing a great job of preparing their players and their programs to be at their best year in and year out. I don't think you have any real dominant pitching in the HCAC conference this year. I don't mean to say that we don't have great pitching. I think a lot of teams have great arms across the board. but I don't think there's any one team that necessarily stands out with an extremely dominant arm, which is maybe a huge hurdle to overcome in a single game or within a tournament game. And so, I think it's going to make for some interesting baseball in the tournament. I think everybody's going to have to execute on the things, the fundamentals of the game, because I think there's going to be balls in play. But again, that parity that we saw throughout the year this year, I wouldn't say it's unlike any other year. I just really felt like there wasn't any one team that could run away with this conference from either a tournament perspective or a conference season perspective.
Okay, and then finally, tell us what do you think? What is Anderson going to have to do to come away with a conference tournament and be successful in the conference tournament?
Well, I think the conference tournament as a whole, we're going to have to be successful at winning the game against the baseball. I think we have to not necessarily completely defocus from the other team that's in the dugout, but it really isn't about the other team we're competing against. It's really more so about us competing against the game. And we are going to have to control the things that we can control and be at our best in order to win. And what I mean by that is, we're going to have to throw effective strikes, right? We're going to have to be in the zone with deceptive pitches and keep their hitters off balance and limit free bases. We're going to have to make the defensive plays that the offense gives us. We're going to have to settle into approaches in the box, and we're going to have to see the baseball up and avoid chasing out of the zone and try to stay in hitters' counts, which allows us to be more effective at the plate. We're going to have to take advantage of the tendencies that on the bases that the other team gives us. So, at the end of the day, whether it's Hanover, Franklin, Rose, or Earlham, I really don't look at it as we have to beat them. We have to beat the game. And if we don't compete against the baseball and we don't compete against, or if we don't win the game per se against the ball, it won't matter who we play. We're going to struggle. And so that's what we've just tried to keep our attention on in our practices and in our efforts throughout the year, and definitely here in these last couple of days, is just being sharp and at competing and winning the game, and not necessarily focusing on the other team in the dugout.
Okay, well, I think I've covered the questions I wanted to. Ravens fans, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to follow along with any more conference previews, any more content we put out on YouTube. Of course, follow along with your Ravens as they compete in the baseball tournament. They're actually playing at Kokomo Municipal Park in Kokomo. If you did want to make the drive, our first game will be on Thursday, May 12th. It'll be at 12:30 p.m. A win from that match would result in a 6:30 p.m. game, also on Thursday. But the tournament will be lasting from Thursday through at least Saturday, maybe even to Sunday. So that's 3 or 4 days of where the baseball tournament is going to be going on. It'll be in Kokomo. If you don't want to make the drive to Kokomo, we'll have a live stream, live stats to put on. Indiana SRN will be putting on a great production for those of you who want to tune in online. Coach Bair, thank you for joining us, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time with me, Aaron.